Students, let's begin with the next topic in grammar, that is active and passive voice. To understand active and passive voice, let's study the following examples. 1. The magician took his hat. 2. He kept it on the table. 3. He pulled out a rabbit. 4. The children clapped loudly. In sentences 1, 2, 3, 4, the subject, the magician, he, the children are the doer of every action. All the above sentences are in the active voice as the subject is the doer of action. When the subject of the verb is the doer of an action, the verb is said to be in the active voice. Now, let's study the second group of examples. 1. The hat was taken by the magician. 2. It was kept on the table by him. 3. A rabbit was pulled out. Students, in these sentences, the subjects, that is, a hat, it, a rabbit, is not the doer of the action. These sentences are in the passive voice. The subject is the receiver of the action in the passive voice. Now, in the first group of sentences, let's study the fourth example. The children clapped loudly. Students, earlier we have learned that verbs that require direct objects to complete their meaning are called transitive verb, and only this can be changed into the passive form. In the fourth sentence, there is no object. The children clapped loudly. I repeat, in this sentence, there is no object. This sentence cannot be changed into passive voice. Read the following sentences and say whether they are in the active or passive voice. Underline the verb in each sentence. 1. The king crowned the prince as his successor. The king, subject. Crown, verb. The king is the subject and doer of the action. This sentence is in active voice as the subject is the doer of the action. Second sentence, the sheep was chased by the wolf. The sheep, subject, was chased, verb. Sheep is the subject. It is not the doer of the action. This sentence is in the passive voice as the subject is not the doer of the action. Third one, your mother teaches science. Your mother, subject, teaches, verb. Your mother is the subject and doer of the action. This sentence is in active voice, as the subject is the doer of the action. Fourth one, people elected him as their representative. People, subject, elected, verb. People is a subject and doer of the action. This sentence is in active voice as the subject is the doer of the action. Last one. Penicillin was discovered by Alexander Fleming. Penicillin, subject, was discovered, verb. Penicillin is the subject. It is not the doer of the action. This sentence is in the passive voice as the subject is not the doer of the action. Personal pronouns change and one has to be careful about it. Column A, we have subject. Column B, we have objects as personal pronouns. If the subject or object in a sentence in the active voice is a pronoun, it changes its form as shown in the table, except pronouns you and it. Let us make some sentences using personal pronouns. 1. I baked delicious cookies. Active voice. Delicious cookies were baked by me. Passive voice. I changes to me. Second example. We know the facts. Active voice. The facts are known to us. We changes to us. Third example. He gave away the prizes. Active voice. The prizes were given away by him. He changes to him. She ate the pudding. Active voice. The pudding was eaten by her. She changes to her. They played cricket. Active voice. Cricket was played by them. Passive voice. They changes to them. Next example. You are holding a picture. Active voice. A picture is being held by you. You remains you. Here are some examples of imperative sentences. Some sentences in active voice do not have a subject. If the sentence is imperative, then the passive voice sentence begins with the word let. We have to change the verb to past participle and use be before it. For example, 1. Request the doctor to come urgently. The verb is request. You have to begin the sentence. It is an imperative sentence, so we have to begin with let. Let the doctor be requested to come urgently. Second one, Write the letter neatly. The verb is write. It is a imperative sentence, so we have to begin with let. Let the letter be written. Written is verb 3. So before the verb 3, use be. Neatly. I repeat, let the letter be written neatly. Third example, do not hide anything from your family. The verb is hide. It is a imperative sentence. Begin with let. Let nothing be hidden from your family. Fourth example, listen to Bilbil's song. The verb is listen. It is a imperative sentence. So let's begin with let. Let Bilbil's new song be listened to. Last example, let them take the responsibility of completing the project. Verb is take. Let the responsibility of completing the project be taken by them. Students, displayed above, we can see 5 sentences. All 5 sentences are in simple tense. Simple tense can be simple present, simple past, simple future. Let's begin with the first example. N does not waste food. N is a subject, food, object. Waste is a verb. Does is the auxiliary verb. They are in simple present tense. If the verb is in simple present tense, to change to passive voice, to change to is, am, are plus verb 3. Begin with the object. Object changes to subject. Subject changes to object. Food, it is the subject, is singular, so we are using is. The answer is food is not wasted by N. Add a preposition by before the object. Second example, my grandpa drove the car. My grandpa, subject, the car, object, drove is the verb in simple past tense. To make it passive voice, change it to was or were plus verb 3. Begin the passive voice with the object. Object changes to subject. Subject changes to object. So the answer is the car is singular. So we use the car was plus verb 3, that is driven. The car was driven by my grandpa. Use a preposition by before the object grandpa. Third example, we will order the books online. Subject is we, books, object. When we write passive voice, we have to change object to subject and subject to object. Will order is a verb. It is in simple future tense. To make it passive voice, we have to change it to will be plus verb 3. Verb 3 is also called as past participle. The answer is books will be ordered online by us. Add preposition before the object in passive voice. Pronoun we changes to us. Fourth example, they will send a gift on Adi's birthday. Here we have they as the subject, a gift, object, that is direct object. Adi's birthday also is object, it is indirect object. So we can write a gift will be sent on Adil's birthday by them. We can also say on Adil's birthday a gift will be sent by them. Let's go to the fifth example. I compose the music and he writes the lyrics. In this sentence, we have I and he as subjects, lyric and music as objects, compose and write verbs in simple present tense, changes to is, am, are plus verb 3, also called as past participle. Change the passive voice by beginning with the object lyrics. The lyrics are written by him and the music is composed by me. Change these sentences from active to passive voice. The sentences are in continuous tense. Continuous tense can be present continuous or past continuous. We do not have future continuous in active and passive voice. Students, now let us begin with the given examples. 1. The leading party is holding the meeting in Delhi. The leading party, subject. The meeting in Delhi, object, is holding, verb. It is in present continuous tense. Present continuous tense means helping verb are is, am, are. Now students, to change to passive voice, we have to use present continuous plus being plus verb 3. Object changes to subject, subject changes to object. So the answer is the meeting in Delhi is being held by the leading party. Second example, our school is organizing this year's inter-school fete. Subject is our school is organizing, verb, this year's inter-school fete. It is the object. Is organizing, the verb is in present continuous tense, that is, am, are. And to change to passive voice, we have to use present continuous tense plus being plus verb 3. Object changes to subject. Subject changes to object. The answer is this year's inter-school fete is being organized by our school. Third example, the captain was steering the ship towards the port. The captain, subject, the ship, object. The verb was steering is in past continuous tense, that is was and were. To make it passive voice, we have to use past continuous tense plus being plus verb 3. The answer is the ship was being steered by the captain towards the port. Fourth example, the leaders were discussing the effect of global warming. Subject, the leaders were discussing, verb, the effect of global warming, object. Were discussing, verb, it is in past continuous tense, that is was and were. To make it passive voice, we have to use past continuous tense plus being plus verb 3. The answer is the effect of global warming was being discussed by the leaders. Change the sentences from active to passive voice. The sentences are in perfect tense. Perfect tense can be present perfect, past perfect, future perfect. Example 1. They will have eaten the pizza before we reach home. They, subject, will have eaten, verb, the pizza, object. The verb will have eaten is in future perfect tense. To make it passive voice or to change the sentence to passive voice, we have to use future perfect plus being plus verb 3. So the answer is the pizza will have been eaten by them before we reach home. Second example, they will have packed the bags for the journey by Saturday. Subject is they will have packed, verb, the bags for the journey, object. Object changes to subject. The verb will have packed is in future perfect tense. To make it passive voice, we have to use future perfect plus being plus verb 3. The bags for the journey will have been packed by them by Saturday. Someone had hacked Alaya's social media account. Someone, subject, had hacked, verb alias social media account object. The verb had hacked is in past perfect tense. To make it passive, we have to use past perfect plus being plus verb 3. So the answer is Alia's social media account had been hacked by someone. Fourth example, we have won a number of matches at the state level. We, subject, have won, verb, a number of matches at the state level, object. Have won is in present perfect tense. To make it passive voice, we have to use present perfect tense plus being plus verb 3. So the answer is a number of matches at the state level have been won by us. Can, could, may, might, should, would, must, ought to are examples of modal auxiliaries. We ought to pay our taxes on time. Ought, modal auxiliary. To pay is the verb. Second example, may God bless you with more happiness. May, modal auxiliary, bless, verb. Third one, can you carry this heavy bag? Can, auxiliary, carry, verb. Fourth one, how can he commit such a crime? Can, modal auxiliary, commit, verb. Students, now to change the sentences from active voice to passive voice. In passive voice, we have to use the auxiliary verb plus be plus past participle. For example, we ought to pay our taxes on time. Our taxes ought to be paid on time. Second one, may God bless you with more happiness. May you be blessed with more happiness. Third, can you carry this heavy bag? Can this heavy bag be carried by you? How can he commit such a crime? How can such a crime be committed by him? When interrogative sentences are changed into passive voice, their interrogative form does not change. In example 1 and 2, auxiliary verbs do, does, did in active voice change to is, are, was, were. For example, did you eat the apples? To begin with, were the apples eaten by you? Second one, does she make garlands? Are garlands made by her? In the third example, again auxiliary verbs like have, has in active voice change to has, have, been plus past participle of the verb. Have you washed the dishes? Have the dishes been washed by you? Passive voice. In the fourth, fifth, and sixth example, when a question begins with who, what, which, and is changed from active to passive voice, the question word is retained and a preposition, usually by, is used. For example, which house did they paint? Which house was painted by them? When did you eat breakfast? When was breakfast eaten by you? Who threw the ball at Nita? By whom was the ball thrown at Nita?